everyone, it's Kelly again, and I am back with another process video today. I'm going to be scrapbooking this picture that you see there of my son. I start with this bold black and white floral pattern paper that you see there from My Mind's Eye, and I'm going to use some white gesso to blend out some of that pattern. I just used a palette knife to put some of that down on the paper, and then I'm just coming in with an old gift card and just smearing it around. I'm going to be adding a couple different layers to really mute out that background. I'm using my finger there just to smooth it. I wanted to make sure there weren't going to be any rough edges with that gesso that I'm layering there. Next, I'm going to come in and use the packaging technique. I just have some green acrylic paint that I've watered down and layered on that packaging, and now I'm just smearing it around over that gesso. At this point, I'm not really loving how it's looking, so I start bringing in some Project Life cards from the Hip Kit Club, and I'm going to start working on my photo layering. I decided to use that yellow Project Life card, and then I'm also going to bring in this red striped paper from My Mind's Eye. I'm just going to eyeball it to where I think it looks good, trim that one side, and then tear the bottom piece. Now that I have my layering pretty much done, I'm going to bring that floral piece back in and see how it's looking, and I'm just really not loving how it's looking. So I'm going to go back to some more layering. I'm going to bring in some vellum. I tend to do that when I'm not loving how something's looking. I will move on to another part of the layout, let the papers and the embellishments inspire me, and just see what direction it's going to take me in. So now that I have the vellum cut, I am going to do a little fold underneath the photo. I like the texture that gives the vellum, and it just gives a little bit more definition. In just a second, you're going to see me take it back to that floral pattern paper, and it's at this point that I decide that I just am not loving it, so I move on to a white cardstock. I start to bring in some embellishments. Those flowers that I am placing in the corner there are from Basic Gray. I am going to add another cluster of flowers to the bottom left-hand corner of the photo. I do have some Pink Fresh Studio embellishments to the right-hand side of where I'm working. I basically use the Pink Fresh Studio and the Basic Gray embellishments for this layout. They all came in a Hip Kit Club that I had purchased. I think it's the March kit. I keep playing with the embellishments for a little while as I'm trying to decide if I want to add any mixed media to this layout. I really enjoy mixed media, but I do like the look of a clean layout also. But I decide for this layout that I am going to bring in some mixed media products. What I'm using there is a Shimmerz product. It is Aqua Hues Green with Envy, and I'm just adding it directly to the cardstock. I did not add any gesso to the paper prior to putting down the mixed media, and it's just not blending very well together. So in just a second, I'm going to bring in some white gesso and just add a layer to pretty much the whole cardstock where I'm going to be adding that mixed media. So again, I'm just using a palette knife to apply that to the paper, and then I'm going to come in with an old gift card just to smooth it out. I do take my finger just to smooth out any lines or edges that may be left from that gift card. So I'm using my water brush and the packaging technique just to get that green with Envy color down on the cardstock, and I'm liking how this is looking much better on the white cardstock versus the pattern floral paper that I had previously. That green is really vivid in person, and it's matching my photo well, and I'm really liking how it's looking. Now I decide that I want to bring in some yellow that's going to match that Project Life card. So what I have there is another Shimmerz product. It is Crazy Daisy. It's another Aqua Hues color, and I'm going to add it to the bottom left where my photo cluster is going to sit, and then also at the top of my photo cluster. I just applied that paint directly to the cardstock, and then I'm going to spray some water onto that packaging and then just spread that color around the cardstock. And I'm just going to keep playing with it until I have the coverage and the texture that I like. Now that I have the mixed media work done, I'm going to start adhering my photo cluster together. And what I use is my Close to My Heart mini stapler to staple those paper pieces together. And then I just use adhesive on the back of my photo. But before I adhere my photo down, I'm going to bring in my long reach stapler and staple the photo cluster directly to the cardstock. Once I have that stapled down, I'm going to move on to some embellishing, and I did work on the embellishing off camera a little bit. As you can see, I've adhered down those Basic Gray flowers. Those little swirls that I am adhering down now are from the Pink Fresh Studio also. I also added that ampersand from Pink Fresh Studio, and then I'm going to bring in my title work in just a second, and that's actually a cut file from the Cut Shop, and I sprayed it in Heidi Swap Butter Color Shine. I'm going to work on getting that title adhered down, and I'm just taking a look around the page to see if there's anything else that I had added off camera. My battery had actually died while I was embellishing. That's why I didn't have a lot of that embellishing recorded for you. And the only thing I'm seeing is that green striped piece directly above my photo cluster, and that is actually a ruler die cut available from Basic Gray. So I'm still working on getting that cut file adhered down, and it actually is going to be my title for my page, and it's going to read Make Every Day Awesome. I'm using a couple different adhesives. I'm using my Scotch Quick Dry Glue for the larger pieces, and then I'm using my Xyron sticker maker to adhere down those smaller individual letters. Once I have that adhered down, I do add some tangled thread to the bottom left-hand corner of my photo cluster and then also at the top right-hand corner. I'm using liquid glass to adhere that down, and then I'm also going to bring in a Pink Fresh Studio puffy sticker that I'm going to adhere directly underneath my photo. Next, I'm going to bring in some enamel dots from Basic Gray, and I am going to group them in 3 different color clusters. I am going to group green at the bottom, yellow at the top, and then the red color matches that red My Mind's Eye striped paper perfectly. I did also add a washi tape strip right next to that ampersand. You can't really see it real well from this angle, but you will be able to see it in the close-ups at the end better. I am going to bring in a couple more Pink Fresh Studio embellishments. I'm going to add that paper heart down there along with that wood veneer piece. And then in just a second, I'm going to bring in my T-square ruler and draw a couple lines for my journaling spot. And I'm just going to add my journaling directly underneath my title. I added just a couple lines for the journaling. There's not a big story behind this photo. It was just us outside enjoying the weather on a nice spring day. I am going to come in and add some splatters with some black Heidi Swapp Color Shine, and we're getting really close to wrapping things up. I'm going to leave you in just a moment with some still shots of the layout. I do have additional still shots on my blog, which I will link to in the description below. I had so much fun making this video. I plan on being back again very, very soon. Thank you so much for watching.